What's up everyone, Joseph here. In this video, we're going to take a look at the grammar that is on page 75 of the book. That's page 75 on unit 11 of book 2. Passive without by. And this time with the simple present. So, a little bit of a reminder, like we explained in the last video. The passive voice is a form of speech which is used to show interest in the person or object that experiences an action, rather than the person or object that performs the action. In other words, the most important thing or person becomes the subject of the sentence. Let's see an example. People speak Spanish in the Dominican Republic. This is the active voice. This is the active voice. And let's take a look at the passive voice. Spanish is spoken in the Dominican Republic. Here the emphasis turned to the object. In this case, the object is the language, Spanish. Here we are saying that people speak Spanish in the Dominican Republic. And here we are saying Spanish is spoken in the Dominican Republic. Well, by people, of course. Spanish is not spoken by animals. Uh, like we said, the focus of the sentence is put on the object receiving the action. As we saw with the simple past passive in the last grammar, do you remember last grammar? If you don't, I'm gonna put it here in the link here. So, as we saw with the simple past passive in the last grammar, we change the emphasis when we use the simple present passive. Instead of saying they use the euro in most of Europe, we can say the euro is used in most of Europe. The focus changes from they, which is not clear, to the euro, which is what we're interested in. Excuse me. Um, of course, we can use the active voice to describe something, but the passive voice is another way to describing the same idea. We can use both. Both are accepted. Well, in this grammar, we're going to learn how to use the passive. So, uh, let's say we can still use by. Don't get fooled by the title. Passive without by. This doesn't mean that we cannot use the by with the simple present. We can use it. We can use it. But we can also create the passive without by. The same with the simple past. In the last grammar, we can use by, and if we wish, we don't have to use by. The by is optional in both cases. If we don't want to mention who made the action, we can erase by. But if we still want to use it, we can use by. Let's see an example. The euro is used in most of Europe by people. Of course, it's by people, it's not by animals or aliens. Cars are manufactured in Europe by manufacturers, of course. Again, it's not by aliens, it's not by ants, it's not by animals, it's by manufacturers, by people. If we wish, we can use this, if we want to mention. But if it's not necessary, if this is something that people already know, of course, it's by manufacturers. We don't have to mention this. If we say, for example, in this case, by Toyota or by Volkswagen, and also we can say it, but if we don't have to mention this information, it's specifically manufacturers, because of course it's by manufacturers. This is not important to mention. So, the doer of the action in each of these sentences is obvious or not important. Like I said, people do this, it's obvious. Manufacturers do this, it's obvious. So the vice phrase can be omitted. It's not necessary. So let's take a look at the structure. The object receiving the action is or are in the present form, because we are doing with the simple present. Remember that with the simple past we use was or were, but here we use is or are. And we use the past participle of the verb. This is the past participle, not the past of the verb. As you can see here, we are using the past participle of this irregular verb. And of course the complement. And if we wish, let's write it here. By the subject. Like I said, it's not necessary. And a lot of trees are cut every day. A lot of trees are cut every day. By who? By people, by criminals, for example. But people know that it's by people. Everyone knows that it's by people or by criminals. Cell phones are sold all over the world these days. By whom? Well, by other people, by companies. But this is something that everyone knows, so it's not necessary to mention. This is when we use the passive voice, when we want to focus on the object and the subject is not important. The subject that does the action is not important. El show del mediodía is seen weekdays at 12 in the Dominican Republic. Well, by whom? By Dominicans, of course, by people in the Dominican Republic. So this is the end of the video. I will see you on the next one.